China, often seen as a monolith of conformity, is witnessing a surge in protest. From bustling cities to rural areas, citizens are voicing discontent with Xi Jinping's leadership. These are not isolated incidents, but ripples of unrest fueled by economic anxieties and social grievances. The CCP, long accustomed to unchallenged authority, now faces a populace increasingly willing to voice frustrations. The internet, once a tool for control, is now a platform for sharing grievances and organizing resistance. Will these acts of defiance be swiftly extinguished by the CCP's security apparatus, or do they signal a deeper shift in the relationship between the Chinese state and its people? In Hunan province, the city of Loudi became a focal point for dissent. A banner appeared on a pedestrian footbridge along Tianhua Road, its message stark against the cityscape. Equality, not privilege. Freedom, not control. Reforms, not the Cultural Revolution. Elections, not leaders. A loudspeaker echoed similar calls for change, urging the removal of Xi Jinping and demanding democracy. This act of defiance, while fleeting, revealed a boldness and willingness to risk personal safety for change. The incident sent ripples through the CCP, a reminder that discontent simmers beneath their narrative of stability. The Loudi protest was an echo of a growing sentiment, a cry for change resonating across China. The Loudi protest was not without precedent. 2 years earlier, in Beijing, Peng Lifei ignited controversy with a daring act of defiance on Sitong Bridge. Armed with hand-painted banners and a loudspeaker, he issued a searing indictment of Xi Jinping and the CCP. His message, captured on video and shared widely, resonated with those disillusioned with growing authoritarianism and economic uncertainty. Though Peng Lifei's whereabouts remain unknown, his act serves as a potent symbol of growing discontent. The Loudi protest, echoing Peng Lifei's courageous act, demonstrates the enduring power of his message. Even in a tightly controlled nation, a single voice can inspire others. Adding to a chorus of dissent, the CCP can no longer ignore. While calls for political reform echo through China, the nation's faltering economy is a potent catalyst for unrest. The economic downturn has not only affected the urban centers, but has also rippled through rural areas, exacerbating existing inequalities. Small businesses are closing at an alarming rate, and large factories are halting production, leaving thousands without jobs. The once booming property market is teetering on the brink of collapse, with unfinished housing projects dotting the landscape. These skeletal structures stand as stark reminders of broken promises and shattered dreams. For many families, their life savings poured into these stalled developments represent financial ruin. Wages have stagnated and the cost of living continues to climb, making everyday life a struggle for the average citizen. The dream of home ownership has turned into a nightmare for many, with no clear resolution in sight. Young people, saddled with student debt and facing a bleak job market, struggle to envision a prosperous future. The job market is saturated and opportunities are scarce, leading to widespread disillusionment among the youth. The CCP's response to the economic crisis has been met with skepticism and frustration. Government initiatives aimed at stimulating the economy have fallen short, and public trust is eroding. The widening gap between the CCP's rhetoric and the lived reality of millions threatens to swallow the party's narrative of competence and stability. Economic grievances represent very real struggles for millions, creating a volatile mix with the potential to ignite further unrest. The situation is a powder keg, and without meaningful change, the discontent is likely to grow. The CCP faces a critical juncture where addressing the economic woes of its citizens is not just a matter of policy, but of survival. The future of China hangs in the balance as economic hardship continues to fuel the fire of discontent. The coming months will be crucial in determining whether the nation can navigate these turbulent times or if the unrest will escalate further. Trade wars and economic scars adding fuel to the fire. China faces mounting pressure from the US-China trade war, exacerbating existing vulnerabilities and fueling social unrest. The economic conflict has not only strained international relations but also deeply affected the lives of ordinary Chinese citizens. The cancellation of large orders by US companies has sent shockwaves through Chinese manufacturing hubs, forcing layoffs and pushing communities to the brink. Factories that once buzzed with activity now stand silent, their workers left to grapple with an uncertain future. The trade war has contributed to a decline in foreign investment, a weakening yuan, and economic uncertainty. Investors are wary, and the financial markets reflect this trepidation, with stock prices fluctuating wildly. This uncertainty manifests in rising prices, shrinking job opportunities, and a growing sense of future hardship. Everyday goods become more expensive, and the job market becomes increasingly competitive, leaving many to wonder what the future holds. The CCP's attempts to downplay the trade war's impact have been met with skepticism. Official statements often paint a rosy picture, but the reality on the ground tells a different story. The sight of shuttered factories and unemployed workers tells a different story, resonating more powerfully than official pronouncements. These images serve as a stark reminder of the human cost of economic policies. The trade war has exposed and amplified cracks in China's economic foundation, pushing frustrated citizens closer to a breaking point. As protests grow and voices of dissent become louder, the true impact of the trade war becomes impossible to ignore. The Iron Fist tightens repression under Xi Jinping. As discontent simmers, the Chinese government has responded with repression. Since 2012, Xi Jinping has expanded the state's security apparatus, using surveillance technologies to create a chilling effect on free expression. Civil society has shrunk, with NGOs and activist groups facing relentless harassment. Lawyers defending political crimes often find themselves targeted. The message from the CCP is clear: dissent will not be tolerated. Protesters face detention, imprisonment, and enforced disappearance, with their families subjected to harassment. The CCP's crackdown reflects its deep-seated insecurity, understanding that its grip on power rests on controlling the narrative. From blank pages to collective action, the evolution of dissent. Despite the CCP's efforts to suppress dissent, the spirit of resistance persists, adapting and evolving. New forms of protest, often subtle and symbolic, challenge the CCP's narrative. The White Paper movement, which erupted in late 2022, is a testament to the creativity and resilience of Chinese activism. Citizens took to the streets, holding up blank sheets of paper representing the CCP's censorship. The movement, fueled by social media, spread rapidly, uniting students, workers, and professionals. The White Paper movement demonstrated the power of symbolic protest in the digital age. Protesters are increasingly drawing connections between social, economic, and political issues, recognizing them as symptoms of the CCP's unchecked power. The long arm of control suppression and its international reach. The CCP's efforts to silence dissent extend beyond its borders, impacting the Chinese diaspora and international students. Chinese students and academics abroad often face pressure to self-censor, fearing repercussions for themselves or their families. Reports of students monitoring and reporting on each other have surfaced on campuses worldwide, creating a chilling effect on academic freedom. The CCP leverages its economic clout to silence criticism on the international stage. Businesses eager to maintain access to the Chinese market often comply with CCP demands, including censoring content critical of China. Travel agencies curate itineraries to present a sanitized version of China devoid of dissent. The CCP's efforts to suppress dissent internationally may ultimately backfire, alienating potential allies and fueling criticisms. An uncertain future between silence and the seeds of change. The recent wave of protests points to a deeper undercurrent of discontent in Chinese society. These demonstrations are not just isolated incidents, but are indicative of a broader, more systemic issue that has been simmering beneath the surface for years. The voices of the people, once muted by fear and repression, are now growing louder and more insistent. The CCP, once confident in maintaining control through economic prosperity and repression, now faces a populace increasingly willing to challenge its authority. The government's traditional methods of control are being tested as never before, and the cracks in the facade of absolute power are beginning to show. The path ahead is fraught with uncertainty, with the CCP likely to double down on repressive tactics. Increased surveillance, censorship and police presence are expected to become even more pervasive as the government seeks to stifle dissent and maintain its grip on power. Economic challenges, exacerbated by the trade war, add fuel to the fire of discontent. Factories are closing, shops are shuttering, and the once booming economy is showing signs of strain. This economic downturn is not just a backdrop, but a significant factor driving the unrest. Even in the face of overwhelming odds, the seeds of change have been sown. Small acts of defiance and courage are beginning to take root, symbolizing hope and the possibility of a different future. These seeds, though fragile, represent the potential for significant transformation. The courage of individual protesters serves as an inspiration, demonstrating that the human spirit's yearning for freedom cannot be fully extinguished. Each protester, with their sign and their voice, adds to the growing chorus calling for change, showing that even in the darkest times, hope can shine through. The future of China hangs in the balance, with the world watching as the drama of its uncertain future unfolds. The outcome of this struggle will not only shape the destiny of a nation, but also have profound implications for the global community. As the seeds of change begin to sprout, the world holds its breath, waiting to see what will emerge from this pivotal moment in history.